Okay, let's talk about some irons. And if you've followed my channel for any amount of time, you've seen that I've talked about a handful of irons. I've done a couple comparisons, and I definitely have a couple that I like. But with that said, I wanted to take a second to compare 3 different irons from 3 different price points and help you understand which one may be right for you. Do you need all the extra features of the more expensive irons? Or are you completely good with spending a little bit less and getting an iron that will be more than capable for your specific need? I'm gonna compare a few different irons. I'm gonna compare the Infrashine. I've used this for probably 15 years in the salon, and I'll tell you, it's been a fantastic tool for me. We're also gonna cover an iron that's a little bit newer on the market. This is the Steampod from L'Oreal. It has some very unique features that the other irons we're talking about do not have. And then we have the Dyson Corrale. This is the only cordless iron. This is definitely the most expensive, and it has a host of features as well that I absolutely love about it that none of the other irons contain. So with that said, let's dive into the difference between these and which one you need. Now, if you're new to the channel, just back up. My name is Justin Hickox. Thank you, first of all, for hanging out. I've been doing hair for a couple of decades now. And what I do on this channel is I share hair tips. I hopefully make your hair life a little bit easier. I also teach people how to cut and color their hair by themselves at home. So if you want more information about that, I've got links in the description where you can find out more. Okay, so let's talk about features and functionality. What are the difference in the features in these 3 irons? So first of all, starting with the Infrashine, you can get this iron for about $150. It's definitely the cheapest in this particular list. These plates are 100% ceramic, okay? That's a big deal. Many plates are coated ceramic, and that does not distribute heat nearly as evenly. Having heat distributed evenly across the plate is a massive part of how the actual iron functions. It basically dictates everything about how efficient the iron is, and that plays a huge role in how damaging or not damaging the iron is. So having fully ceramic plates versus coated plates is a big win for sure. This one does also have a swiveling cord, right? Which I like because it does actually make it easier when you're trying to add wave to your hair. So while that doesn't seem like a lot, that is actually a pretty big deal in terms of convenience. So this one has 3 different temperatures. You have 260 degrees, you have 340 degrees, and 400 degrees. All in all, it's not heavily packed with a ton of features. It's also the least expensive iron that we're talking about, so it kind of makes sense. It basically does what it needs to do, not a whole lot more. Okay, moving on to the Steampod. Now, this is $250 if you buy it through L'Oreal. It's the only iron in the setup that actually uses steam. If you look on here, there's 2 companies. There's L'Oreal Professional, which is L'Oreal, obviously, the company that created this. But then there's another company right here, which is Rowenta. They have an incredible reputation in the steam game. I do love the fact that L'Oreal didn't just in-house determine how this steam functionality is gonna work, but they partnered with one of the leading companies in that industry and said, hey, come on over and let's figure this out together. I also know that this lets off a very specific amount of steam, 0.8 grams per minute to be precise. And I know L'Oreal well enough to know that 0.8 grams wasn't a random number they came up with. So there is a little bit more science behind this than simply, hey look, our iron throws steam at your hair. Right, which personally I love. I also love the way they engineered this. I said this a second ago that it might be the weak spot potentially on this iron, but with that said, it's also extremely easy to fill this up with water, and it just makes it really simple to use. Now, one of these pods, as it's filled, they say can work on about 2 normal heads of hair or 1 very thick head of hair. So it's not like you can be filling it up all the time. But then when you want to put it back, you just simply put this back in and then click that down and you're good to go. This also has a swiveling cord. One of the key differences that I see in this that I haven't seen in a lot of other irons is this comb. So I like that this is here, but I also like the fact that it can be easily removed. And when you remove it, you don't have to deal with it, but it's also easy to replace. These plates are also very evenly heated. It's an anodized coating. Now these plates are checked for their heat about 2 times every second. So there's 3 heat settings in this as well. Now that's all indicated on this little LCD screen right here that for me, I kind of like the LCD stuff. I don't know what makes that feel like it's more expensive, but they say that adding the steam to this element actually smooths hair out 2 times smoother, 2 times faster, and 78% less damage. Now, with that said, there's a big asterisk here, and that's because that is compared to this same iron not using the steam. So adding that steam element is what is creating those results. not just the overall iron itself. Moving on to the Dyson, this is a $499 item, so it obviously is the most expensive of these three. We expect this to have more functionality. This is, hands down, like I said, twice the cost of the Steampod and almost 4 times the cost of the Infrashine. So it should have more functionality, and it does. Starting off, there's no cord. To me, that's a really big deal. But with that said, if you do want to use a cord, there is a cord that you can attach here. You can always connect that cord back up and have a corded iron that lasts a little bit longer. It also is the only iron that actually has completely bendable, moldable plates. Because these plates actually mold around the hair in the center, it helps to keep that hair in the center of the iron. I will say that I actually like the way this comb combs through the tangles and keeps the hair straight as well as keeping it in line, whereas the Dyson Corrale doesn't do that. With that said, the Dyson Corrale is monitoring this temperature of these plates 100 times every second, not 2. And because of that cocoon that it's kind of creating, it's making sure that every single hair is exactly the same temperature, which adds a little bit of the efficiency with it, which means the damage control is there. Now, this one has 3 different temperatures as well, 330, 365, and 410. This also has, like we talked about before, the fly safe thing here. So to me, that convenience is nice as well. I also like that this locks. Seems like a small thing, but if you've ever tried to pack away a hot iron, having this being able to lock like this is gonna minimize the ability of this to ruin whatever you're wrapping it in or putting it next to when it's still hot from being 400 degrees. So let's see which one heats up the fastest. I'm gonna turn them all on and I'm gonna heat them up to their hottest temperature, all around 400 to 410 degrees, and then we'll see how long they take. Okay, so let's start with the Dyson here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start it. Let's see how long that takes. And we're good at about 41 seconds, about 40 seconds or so probably. Let's try this. Okay, and turn that on. Start. So we're at about 55 seconds, 57 seconds, somewhere in there. And then let's move over to the Steampod and see where we're at with that. And we're just under a minute, or about a minute before that heated up. So in that, the Dyson was definitely the quickest by roughly 20 seconds. Now let's jump into the meat of this all. I need to use these on straight hair and see really how they work. We need to know, right? If there's just a way that there is. I got you. Actually, you come with me. Okay. I don't think this is gonna go over well, but yeah, we'll find out. Hey, babe. Oh. So I'm filming a video for YouTube right now, and I need your help.
Okay.
It's gonna be really easy. I just need you to simply jump in the shower, shampoo your hair, jump out of the shower, dry it, don't put any products in it. It's, like I said, easy. Okay. And then I need you to take a flat iron and watch out, Kevin. Flat iron your hair.
Okay.
That's not a problem, right?
No,
okay. Then I need you to jump back in the shower. I need you to wet your hair down. I need you to re-dry it, and then I need you to do the exact same thing with another iron.
Just twice.
Okay, after that, I need you to get back in the shower. I need you to shampoo your hair, dry it, and then do the exact same thing with a third iron.
It's not even technically my hair washing day.
Like I said, it's gonna be easy, right? You're cool with that?
You know how much I hate.
You do that?
You know how much I hate drying my hair. But yes, for you, babe, I will. As long as you make me dinner.
Burgers.
Burgers.
Yes.
Okay.
Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. What I've got, we're gonna start you out with the Infrashine. So this is the Infrashine iron. And then all I want you to do is go through your hair and flat iron it the way you would typically flat iron it, okay? I'm gonna time it to see how long it takes. Okay, obviously she's already got straight hair, but she's still gonna go through and polish it off. So it still gives us an idea of from start to finish, how long it takes for her to do her specific hair. It might take you a little bit longer to do yours, depending on how much wave there is. What I want you to do is just pay attention to how it feels. If there's anything that you notice while you're going through it, just the ergonomics, the heaviness on certain areas, anything about it, just kind of log that mentally and then we'll talk about it at the end. Okay. All right, so let me get the timer started and go ahead and start. So now we're at round 2. This is going to be the Steampod. Ready? So hold on a second, we'll get this started. Go. Okay, and now we're moving on to the Dyson, and go. Okay, so what did you think? Did you notice any difference between any of them?
So the first one that I used, I noticed how lightweight it was.
Okay, did that seem easier to you?
I liked that it was lightweight,
Okay.
yeah. So, because it seemed really easy in my hands. The middle one, the steam one, honestly was a little confusing at first because it had the little combs, and so you could only hold it one way. So I had to keep looking, so that was kind of like, ah. And then the last one, the Dyson, I think they probably got the best results. It's a little bit on the heavy side compared to the, what is it, Infrashine. So it's more weighty, but I felt like I was able to go through more hair easily than the other two.
Okay, so she is correct, actually. The Dyson, actually, after speaking to the Dyson design team that actually built the Corrale, one of the things that they told me was that the Dyson, actually, you can take larger sections because of the way it's created. You take larger sections, and it actually still is very efficient. So that surprised me. So you're dead on that. You can take bigger sections with it. On the other hand, the Steampod is great, but actually, you're supposed to take a little bit thinner sections to get it to work efficiently. So that is a thing. That is something that you picked up on that may or may not change your decision on which one you want to go with just due to time.
Yeah.
I think once you get past the comb and learn how to use it, it'll be a lot quicker. Also knowing that you can remove the comb, but that's up to you. You might not want to remove the comb, at which point you would have to get used to using it. But with that said, you are still going to be taking a little bit smaller sections. So part of that is just the size of the section that you take. But you go over the section one time and it was done. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the conclusion? Who are these irons actually for, and which one, more importantly, is right for you? Now, obviously, that wasn't a super technical test. I fully get it, but it does give you kind of an idea of some real-world situation and what the differences are. And if you looked at them, I didn't notice a massive difference in the end result. I think these are irons that are going to take more time of you using on a day-to-day basis to really see the benefits of the health aspect of it. So if you're a type of person that maybe you're a little bit more budget conscious, or maybe you aren't really concerned about your overall hair health, that's not of the top priority. Your hair's in pretty good condition. You just want an iron that functions, maybe lacks all the bells and whistles, but at the same time will be a workhorse, will straighten your hair, and you want something simple. Then the Infrashine has been an absolute workhorse for me. I think it's a great iron, and I would recommend it to anyone in that situation. Now, at the other side though, if you're feeling like you want a little bit more control over your hair's health, maybe that's a little bit more concern to you, and you're willing to spend a little bit more money. Maybe you want the extra bells and whistles. Maybe you want to make sure that it's a little bit more efficient because it has something like this comb to help you kind of manage your hair section. Well, in that scenario, the Steampod is going to be a fantastic iron. It's going to be obviously a little bit more expensive, but with that said, there are a lot of benefits to it. And if hair health is a concern to you, then this would be an incredible option for you. Now, if you're the type of person that money is really not the worry, or you want the absolute top end. You are super concerned with your hair texture and your hair health, and more importantly, you want every bit of technology you can possibly pack into an iron, meaning cordless, right, ability to travel on the actual airplane with you, that kind of stuff, then your option really is the Corrale by Dyson. It's just a fantastic iron. Like I said, it's obviously the most expensive in this grouping, but you're definitely getting your $500 worth. I believe you actually get every penny's worth. So for me, I think the important question to ask yourself is, what do you need out of an iron, and are you willing to spend the extra money to get it? And if so, well, these are some really solid options for you. But I hope that helped, and you know where I'm at if you have any questions about it. Otherwise, right now, what I need to do is watch this video right here because, well, like I always say, you're going to support the channel, but more importantly, you're going to learn some cool stuff. For sure, some cool stuff, because that's all I teach is cool stuff. You're going to learn some stuff, so go watch that right now. And otherwise, I appreciate you hanging out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get notified every Tuesday when I bring out a brand new video. And speaking of Tuesdays, we'll see you next Tuesday. All right, have a good one. Bye.